Alright guys, so today I'm going to be going over my everyday carry stuff, my EDC kit, everything that I take with me on a day-to-day basis, stuff I take to the grocery store, to work, blah blah blah. This is by no means exactly what you should carry. This is just the stuff that fits me personally. You should come up with your own kit and kind of figure out what fits you best and all that jazz. Let's just jump right into it. First thing, I guess, everybody needs one of these. It's a good knife. Everybody needs something that's gonna, cut a cutting tool of some sort. This one just happens to be a Spyderco Tenacious. This one, they have a couple different models, but this one was made in China, so it was a little bit cheaper. That's why I purchased it. I think it was $40, $44 where I bought it. It's got a good blade, good edge retention. The steel is not, fancy or anything like that. I think it's CR13, 813. It's pretty good. I've used this thing regularly. As you can tell, it's got a lot of wear and tear on it, but I definitely beat this thing up on a daily basis. I use it at work. I use it, doing everything around the house, opening boxes, whatnot. I've had this knife for about a year now, and it's pretty sweet. I like this one just because of the little thumb hole opening device. It takes a little while to get used to, but it opens really easy. It doesn't, mess up your finger. It's not rough around the edges there, but it's definitely a pretty sweet knife for the money. Now, there's other knives out there. If you really want to go high end or something like that, you could get like a Zero Tolerance or a Benchmade or even like a Spyderco Paramilitary 2. Those are really nice knives, and they're going to run you in the $100 to $120 range, but this one, fit me. I just wanted to get something that I could beat up. And I have other knives like this or ones that are similar that I switch out occasionally, but this one's definitely a good go-to for me. $40 for an everyday knife that I've had for a year that I use consistently is definitely a good option. Right. Chapstick. This stuff's great. I use it all the time. I mostly use it, as chapstick, but you get a lot of good uses out of this stuff. A lot of people don't know this. I mean, there's, unless you're a survivalist or a prepper of some sort, you can use this on just about anything that's flammable, say a cotton ball or toilet paper or something like that. And the way it works is that this has, a property that kind of slows or delays the burn. So like say if you needed fire, but you wanted it to last a little longer, you could put some of this on some toilet paper that you balled up, and it would slow down the burn of the toilet paper. So if you needed to start a fire or something along those lines, you could, use it for that. It also, if you're out in the sun all day, like right now, for instance, it's like 90 degrees where I'm at. It's hot out there. I mean, you could use this to put on your lips and cover up, areas that might get chapped. Another thing that most people don't know about this, that a lot of people could use it for, is blisters on your feet. Like say you've been walking all day, or say the worst case happens and you had to walk home and it was a 30-mile walk like it is for me. You could take some of this off, wipe it with your finger, wipe a good, chunk of it, and then rub it on a blister on your foot, and that'll solve your issue right there. That'll help, delay the pain. It'll help lubricate the wound, so when you're walking, it doesn't cause any more pain for you. It's definitely a good option. This is, nothing. This costs nothing. This is like $1 at Walmart. All right, my Zippo. I bought this Zippo at Walmart actually. Zippos are awesome. The only thing, that I wasn't aware of when I bought it that, I guess I should have, known about it, is that the fluid that you put in here, the fluid to keep it burning, it evaporates. It evaporates pretty quickly. So, when you're using it, even if you're not using it and you just keep it in your pocket, if you don't need it or you don't smoke or something along those lines, that this will probably evaporate within a week or two. So if you don't use it one bit and you fill it up completely within a week or two, it'll be completely empty. So this is something you're going to be consistently refilling. But it's also, it's a windproof lighter. Like just like anyone. Let's see. It's still lit. It's not going to hold up against, strong winds or anything like that. But this is definitely a handy little tool. If you're out there and it, the wind's blowing pretty hard and you need to get a light real fast, this is definitely a solid option. I got this for $11 I think at Walmart, and the fluid itself, you get a big old container of fluid for $2 probably, and it's pretty cheap to refill. You just kind of keep that around you or keep it in your bag or something along those lines, so that's a pretty good option. Let's see here. Another option for fire. Bought this at a gas station. It cost me $1. It's the Minibic. It's not the large full-size one, it's a small one, because all the stuff you're going to be carrying in your pocket on a day-to-day basis, you don't want it to get all, you know, clunky in there and make your pocket bulge out. You know, that's just not cool looking, and, you know, it kind of takes up a lot of space. You got enough stuff to carry, so, you know, this is just really a backup. This is something just, you know, in case. 2 is 1 is 1 is none. I mean, that's pretty nice. Alright, you gotta get light. This is a big one. A lot of people don't think to carry this, but I use this really, really often. It's a flashlight. You can tell I beat the crap out of this thing all the time, but I got this flashlight from one of my buddies who bought it online, and it cost $3. I think he got like 20 of them or something along those lines, but they're super bright. Like, they have 2 options. It has a telescoping lens here, so, you know, you can get a little bit it can focus, so see right there, and then you telescope it a little bit and it pinpoints. So if you need to get a little bit more brightness or more direct light into one spot, it definitely works well. And it has a couple different options. So it goes low right there, and also goes to strobe, so for whatever reason you might need that for. I replace this battery pretty often. It's a AA, but this thing is bright. I'm big on budget stuff, and I go to Walmart pretty often, but you know, for all the lights that they have at Walmart that are, you know, clunky and large, it's like, I want to say they're 100 to 120 lumens, and they're much bigger than this one. This light is super bright. I don't know the lumens on it. It doesn't specify when you buy it, but I want to say it's, you know, in the 150 range, maybe a little bit higher. But it's a good light, you know. It's not anything too fancy. It only costs $3, but it's definitely solid for what you're getting, you know. I use this often. And here's my backup. This is really small. I mean, this is literally the size of a AA battery. There's a AAA battery in here, but it's the size of a AA. It's not as bright as the other one, but I mean, the light itself, you know, it works for what it is. You know, it's a little pocket light. It doesn't take up a lot of space. It's good overall. I think this cost me $10. It's a Fenix EO1. This is the older model. They have one out. It's a little bit larger. I think it runs on AA's. I'm not certain, but it's 20 lumens. Which is, you know, you don't necessarily have to have this big one, but, you know, it definitely has the brightness factor to it. And it may take up a little space, but it also has this little clip here, so you can kind of keep that on the top part of your jeans or the outside or whatever. This one can just drop right into your pocket. It's small, doesn't have as much light, but it is a flashlight. It will get it done, you know. This, as you can see, I've duct taped it, so because it was kind of sliding open on me in my pocket. But this is basically fire in a little box. And what it has in here is it's got a little tender. It's got basically a cotton ball inside that's soaked in this stuff, soaked in some wax type stuff, and it's basically just a cotton ball. So if you would need it, what you would do is you just slide this thing off the top, the lid, you'd slide it open, and you'd break up parts of the cotton ball with your fingers, and you'd light it, and it holds the flame. It holds the flame while you're, you know, doing whatever you're doing. If you're setting up a little fire, it'll hold it for you. You can just kind of slide it under there and then close the lid when you're done. You know, cuts the oxygen off, and you're good to go. That lasts for a while. That cost me $5, I think. And they make larger ones, but, you know, for an everyday carry, you want something small. Like I said, you're gonna have all this stuff in your pockets. You know, you don't want to have a bunch of junk making your pockets bulge. So this thing is definitely a good option. Plus, you get that duct tape wrapped around here, and if you ever need something like that to patch a small hole or something along those lines, you have that. Alright, this is the Gerber Curve. Now, basically, I bought you don't necessarily need this, but I bought this because I thought it was really cool and it was a neat idea, and, you know, it was cheap. It was inexpensive. I think it was $7, but it's a really good deal. I mean, you get a bunch of little things with this thing. It's tiny. It's really, really small, and it fits in your hand. You know, it's concealable. It's not anything that, you know, is gonna scare people or anything like that, but it has a lot of stuff to it. You know, it's got a little blade, it's got a couple different screwdriver heads. Let's see if I can get this open. Doing this, well, I'll just show you. But see, you can see in there, it's got a screwdriver head, flathead, a Phillips head. It's got a file on it. It's got a lot of little stuff to it. Also has this little clip, so if you needed to like carry it on your keychain because your pockets were too tight or bulky, you could. This would just clip right on there. It also has a little bottle opener, which is marked. It's great. This thing is, you know, indispensable. It's a really good thing, and it locks. It locks in place. This little lever right here is a release latch, so whenever you open the knife or anything like that, see, it's not gonna close on you. You can do the latch, Closes perfect. It's a cool little tool. I bought it basically because I thought it was neat, but now I really like it. Mace. Again, something you could put on your keychain if you wanted to, if it was taking up too much space. I keep this one at the top of my pants, just in case, you never know. It has a little safety right there. But this thing is great. I haven't had to use it yet, but I mean, for what it is, it's mace. It's a small little can of it. So if you ever came upon somebody that was, you know, giving you a hard time or something along those lines, and you needed something to defend yourself and it wasn't lethal, like a knife or something along those lines, you could just use this, and this would, you know, deter them from messing with you or something along those lines. Everybody should have one of these. I mean, this thing's great. Just a little can, weighs only a couple ounces, not very heavy, but I mean, it's durable. You can drop it and whatever else, and I'm pretty sure it floats. So if you were to drop it in water, you'd probably be fine. You could see it right at the top of the water. But yeah, this thing is not expensive. This is under $10 as well. And last but not least, multi-tool. Now there's a bunch of different ones out there. You can get them much cheaper, but you know, buy once, cry once, so you get something that's worth the money. This is the Leatherman Wave. This thing is awesome. I use this all the time as well. I don't need to pull out all the little, you know, things to it, but it has everything. It has little blades, little saws on all these different edges. There's a file right there. This blade's really sharp also. It's really nice, and it looks like I need to touch this thing up a little bit. But it's got everything. I think this is probably the most expensive thing I carry, but this thing was like $60 or maybe less than that. It might have been like 50. But I mean, you're going to use this often. You may not think you will. Maybe you don't have a job that requires, you know, pliers or knives or something along those lines. You'll use this once you have it more than you think you will. This thing, I mean, it does everything. It does everything you're going to need. You know, it has all the little basic tools you need to get through your day. You know, it has a screwdriver and all that other junk to it. And you'll use this thing. You will, because I bought it and I was like, oh, it's cool to have, but I don't think I'm going to use it that often. I use this all the time. You never know. You never know what you're going to need it for. It can be used in all facets of life, you know. It doesn't matter if you work at a garage or something along those lines. You could work at Walmart, or you could work at, you know, a restaurant or anything like that, and this thing will still find uses for you. So yeah, everything here is the stuff I carry on a day-to-day basis. Some people in some states, they're allowed to carry, you know, firearms and whatnot. Maryland is not one of those states, so obviously I don't carry one. If I could, I would. But this is the stuff that I carry on a day-to-day basis. I know it looks like a lot, but it is not gonna, you know, clunk up your pockets like you think it's gonna. You know, this stuff fits in my pockets. It doesn't show that much. And if you carry this on your belt and a couple of these, you know, sticking out where you can grab them rapidly, it really doesn't take up that much space. So this is just kind of an idea of the things that you can get and carry with you and things that you may use on a day-to-day basis. I'm out.